The Washington Commanders traveled to Atlanta to play the Atlanta Falcons in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This is a game big in a pivotal NFC matchup. The Falcons defeated the Commanders 34-27, handing Washington their second loss of the season, while Atlanta improved to 2-2. A clash that began with opportunity for both teams ultimately tipped when Atlanta capitalized on explosive plays, while Washington's defense once again failed to finish drives or make decisive stops. Atlanta grabbed the early momentum with a 38-yard field goal by Parker Romo. Then cornerback Michael Penix Jr. connected with wide receiver Drake London on a short touchdown pass, making it 10-0 by the end of the first quarter. Washington answered in the second quarter via a 5-yard touchdown pass from Marcus Mariota to wide receiver Luke McCaffrey, closing the gap to 10-7. Yet Atlanta struck back late in the half when Penix dropped a 43-yard pass to London, setting up a 14-yard touchdown from running back Bijan Robinson and reasserting a 17-7 lead. In the third quarter, the Falcons extended it further with another touchdown, pushing the margin to 24-13. Washington fought back in the fourth quarter with Mariota hitting wide receiver Deebo Samuel Sr. for a 24-yard score on fourth down and a successful two-point conversion, pulling within 31-24. But Atlanta responded with a methodical drive, converting key third downs, culminating in a 26-yard Romo field goal to make it 34-24. Washington's late field goal cut it to 34-27, but an onside kick recovery by the Falcons sealed the game. Looking into the numbers, the Falcons possessed the ball 34 minutes and 15 seconds, as the Commanders possessed the ball 25 minutes and 45 seconds. The Falcons heavily outgained the Commanders, 435-294. And the same was true for the quarterbacks. Michael Penix Jr. completed 20 of 26 passes for 313 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. And Marcus Mariota completed 16 of 27 passes for 156 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and ran for 20 yards. Bijan Robinson rushed for 75 yards and a touchdown, and grabbed 4 receptions for 106 receiving yards. Commanders' leading rusher was Chris Rodriguez Jr. for 59 yards. This game did excel in explosive plays, including Penix's long connections, plus Robinson's dual-threat production, rushing and receiving, gave them chunks of yardage throughout. Atlanta dominated time of possession and yardage, which translated to sustained drives and scoreboard pressure, and the Falcons converted critical third downs, especially in the fourth quarter, to put the game away. For the Commanders, Mariota and receivers found success despite injuries. They scored multiple times and held their own. Their special teams also showed up. Kickoff return yards were strong, and kicker Matt Gay was perfect on his field goal attempts. However, the defense repeatedly missed tackles and allowed major plays, specifically against Robinson, who broke multiple runs and receptions. They settled for too many field goals or stalled drives instead of turning possessions into touchdowns. The game was competitive in that Washington stayed within 1 score in the fourth quarter and showed fight, but the swing came when Atlanta pulled away in the second and third quarters and prevented the Commanders from gaining traction. Atlanta's dominant yardage, 435 total, and longer possession, 34 minutes and 15 seconds to Washington's 25 minutes and 45 seconds, set the tone. Washington's missed stops and discipline issues, especially on defense, prevented them from seizing the momentum when close. The Falcons used their lead to manage the clock and convert when Washington threatened. The game taught us that defense matters. Even a capable offense can't win if the defense cannot stop big plays or tackle. Washington's defense allowed too many explosive gains. Atlanta's chunk plays forced Washington into reactive mode. Washington may have fewer yards, but the key is turning drives into touchdowns and stops. They failed in that regard. Atlanta converted when the game was on the line. Washington faltered in the same moments. Washington was hampered by missing key players, including Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin, and built on a foundation that showed cracks. Unfortunately, Daniels being out did hinder Washington's abilities to move the ball, and McLaurin's absence was felt as well. But a Penix against Daniels showdown would have been a real contrast in styles, precision and timing versus improvisation and athleticism. It would also test the Falcons' defense against a mobile quarterback and the Commanders' offense against a high-volume passing attack. Basically, an aerial chess match versus a ground-and-gain, play-extending battle.